So, the last few days have been large for horror history. Number one, the Chucky TV series started, although I've only seen one Child's Play and I wasn't quite fond of it, so haven't watched that. But the Scream 5 trailer came out, which is super cool. It looks really good, although the Scream films have never really been my particular cup of tea, although I still enjoy them for what they are. And I think the biggest of all, which is the topic of this video, on Friday, Halloween Kills has been released. And I have seen it, and this is a review of it. And it's honestly really good. I think one odd thing I noticed is that the theater was almost the opposite of packed. In fact, it was only me and my father in that single theater watching it, which was kind of crazy in my opinion because, like, I thought there'd be more people. It released just yesterday and I thought the theater might be a little packed, but no. So anyways, as I'm watching the decay of the whole cinema business, I realized that Halloween Kills, at first I expected it to be a dumb bloodbath, which I have no problems with. Friday the 13th Part 6 is a good example, because you're always, we'll face it for a second, you're always kind of rooting for Jason. You always love it when you see the kills in the film, and they're always over the top and absurd, which I have no problems with. I love Friday the 13th Part 6 as well. And that is what I was expecting from this film. Just a dumb, non-thought-out bloodbath. For that's how the reviews made it seem. A 4 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, practically. So, I went in with fairly low expectations, but fairly high at the same time, because, you know, I like that kind of dumb stuff. But as I was watching it, I realized that is not what it is. The first half, it felt like that. And, you see, before we get into my big reasoning why it's so great, just a few things about it. First of all, it is very gory, for sure. It definitely fulfills on the bloodbath part, and definitely he's trumped Jason with the amount of kills that he has now, which is quite surprising actually. But the gore is insane, as many of you probably have seen in the trailer. The scene of him attacking the firefighters is just, it is part of the sick glee you get while watching slasher films. And it was super cool to see on the big screen, with him having the firefighter axe, and even cutting into the guy's head with the circular saw was quite something. And there are just overall a lot of kills. No nudity or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. Definitely on the gore front though. And overall, it did deliver on that side 100%. Although here's the thing that I enjoyed about it. Some of the kills actually felt horrifying and depressing in a way, actually. Which I think is something really good. Because instead of having it just being that weird glee you get from watching them, some of them felt actually scary. And by that I don't mean, oh my god, that's such a weird tool he's using, or stuff like that. It felt realistic and sad. Like, the characters he killed were just normal people, and seeing them get killed in such horrible ways was actually kind of deeply disturbing. And that's one of the things I appreciated about it. The fact that it didn't fully glorify all of the kills. Some of them were really, as I said, just dark. As you know, the cast from the first film has returned. A lot of the characters, including Tommy. I gotta be honest, he's the only one I remember. The only ones I remember from the first film are realistically only Laurie Strode. The rest were just normal cookie cutter characters for me. Not saying the first film was bad, it was very well made, and I do think it was a good slasher film. But I don't remember too many of the people. They have returned, and the plot is very simple. It's just I'm trying to gang up on Michael Myers, which is a part that I'm gonna get to in a second, which is one of the reasons why I appreciated this film so much. But that was very cool to see. From the trailers, I was actually quite looking forward to them roughing him up, trying to beat him. And while their efforts were futile, and you may think that's spoilers, but come on, we all knew Halloween Ends was gonna exist after this. You know that they didn't kill him. And, well, spoiler alert, they do not win. Michael Myers clearly gets the upper hand. It was still kind of cool, honestly, to see them trying to beat him. And another thing is, he gets unmasked in this film. You don't fully see his face. Although, literally, if you search up Michael Myers Halloween 2018 face, you will get it. It is not hard to find at all. It's just a picture of the exact actor with the exact makeup. Some people, especially when the first preview came out, and if you're watching this, yeah, but were really annoyed with the fact that he got unmasked, and the reasoning was that he's not human, per se, which I do kind of agree with, but I gotta be honest, having Michael Myers unmasked, I feel like having him just being a normal guy makes it 10 times scarier, because they pull away the mask, and it's just a kind of demon type thing, which we all know it isn't. I'd find less scary, because it would give you reasons for why he's the way he is. And overall, I actually think it was a wise decision to unmask him. They don't fully show his face every time they have a full frontal shot of it. It is completely blurry, which I don't blame them for. But I just find it really creepy to have him look like just a normal guy underneath. Well, aside from scars and stuff, but those are obvious. But just having him look like a demented old man really worked for me, personally. That's one of the things I found so scary about it. But on the topic of the people ganging up on Myers, I feel like the main scares of the film did not come from himself, actually, which I find surprising. And I just gave a spoiler warning, and in editing, I'll edit that in. But for those who have seen the film, I'm going to say it. But I feel like the main scenes that really scared me are of the crowd. And especially the main part is when the other mental patient makes it into the hospital. I just found it an honestly really sad scene and terrifying at the same time to see this whole crowd not being dissuaded by anything. Not by the authorities, not by their fellow people telling them all that it is not, in fact, Michael Myers. But I just found it really scary to see them all pushing people out of their way and ganging up on this poor innocent man to try and kill them. And that's where I think this movie excels. Because part of what it makes good is the fact that what Michael Myers did is bringing out the worst in people. You see, I think that was a very smart decision to do, actually, because it really teaches us about mob mentality. And I just think that it was really good and creepy to see everybody innocent before just turning their minds and going into a full-on bloodlust to this poor innocent man, which ends to him jumping in his death. That scene honestly really freaked me out, and I think it was honestly one of the best parts of the movie, for it pointing out what makes humanity sometimes so scary. I know I'm getting into some weird social commentary, and I know that me in a few years will look back on this and find it cringy, but that's That's genuinely what I think. This film is actually well thought out. It is not a stupid bloodbath. And I think some scenes are genuinely terrifying and not for the reason you'd think. So, yeah. Also, I think at times it does do very good at inclusion. For example, the people who live in the Myers house are homosexual. Like, no, I'm not even gonna say for sure. They make it clear. And I feel like that inclusion is very good because I know I'm getting almost off topic here, but it is because instead of people having like just random gay characters who are superheroes almost, it just having them just randomly in there really works for it being believable in the way that they're not like superheroes or anything and they don't make it a big deal. They just exist. So that was definitely a really good step in the right direction. Overall, in the end, would I recommend this film? 100%. Personally, this film is one of the things that makes me hate movie critics a little bit more every day, because I seriously don't think this is a 4 out of 10. It is a 7.5 at least, and I honestly really loved it. I think it did an amazing job at everything, and also the Myers mask just looked amazing in it. Let's all face it. It was super creepy. And whilst a lot of the characters we all know and love died, which I found quite surprising actually, I really enjoyed this film. I'd recommend it, and I think you should see it rather either streaming or going to a film theater yourself. So that was the video. Definitely recommend it, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.